Mato Grosso is the third largest federal state in Brasilia. A combination of unique swampland with remarkable fauna and flora and extensive high plains. We begin our journey across Mato Grosso in Cuibaba, its capital. The first impression is of a modern city. The new administration center is a contemporary building. The old town has retained the character of old, with narrow lanes, small colourful buildings, a natural image of bygone days. The former gold prospectors town that was established around the spring of Corrego Da Prainha Creek has been transformed into a lively city. In 1727, Miguel Sutil discovered a large quantity of gold here. Indeed, his find created a gold rush. Then came the first bandeirante, pioneers who came here with the intention of making a quick fortune in the Wild West. However, their efforts were in vain. In their search for gold, they found only jungle inhabited by various Indian tribes. Thus thwarted, most of the bandeirante returned to Sao Paulo. Later, Mato Grosso became known as the final frontier, and people from each corner of Brasilia settled here. Untouched, free land that promised easy money for those who were strong and courageous enough. Many discovered that the best plots had already been taken. This region has always been inhabited. The Gothic Church has been particularly active. At the junction of the water-rich lowlands and the arid high plains, the town of Cuibaba grew and grew. The large variety of people living in the town introduced numerous religious and worldly customs that gradually began to amalgamate. With festivals, cuisine, rhythm and dance, music and poetry. The Indian slaves of the former gold prospectors also added their own contribution. Today, Cuibaba has developed into a small city for which the city fathers have ambitious plans. The Gothic Church, Nossa Senhora do Bom Despacho, dates back to 1720 and is one of the city's oldest buildings. Inspired by the Notre Dame in Paris, it's located on a hill and looks down on the old town. In recent years, ecotourism has developed here, and Cuibaba has become the starting point for excursions into various nearby nature parks. They're popular with day trippers. We travel north, and soon the city is behind us. The road travels up and downhill all the way to our next destination. Chapada dos Guimarães, a national park founded in 1989 that features steep-sloped Table Mountains. It is Brazil's Wild West, whose earthiness and mystical scenery curls around the geodetic center of South America. The geological history of the 33,000-hectare national park makes the composition of this region a little easier to understand. Salgueiro, an area of rest and relaxation, can today be found at the foot of the mesas. A weekend getaway destination, particularly for the residents of Cuibaba. In bygone days, merchants with heavily laden donkeys gathered here to salt meat and dry it in the sun. The huge mesas of glowing red arenite rock seem to calm the very heavens. At first, small streams flowed down from the mountains and through the rocky plateau, carrying with them red-colored rock, which today glows brightly in the sunlight. Suddenly, and without warning, the rivers vanish into a jungle of trees and shrubs, and their water masses plunge unexpectedly and dramatically into the abyss below. Powerfully, the water masses make their way and take large sections of rock with them. "500 million years ago, the area was covered with a thick sheet of ice. Later, a sea extended across it, followed by desert. Next, it became grazing land for dinosaurs. And about 15 million years ago, the former seabed rose up and became the Chapada. Many small and larger waterfalls give the scenery a sense of mystique. There's so much here to be discovered. Seems as if the water could cleanse the soul. The amazing, captivating landscape is also embellished with untouched flora. Flowers and blossoms in exotic colors transform the mountain backdrop. Chapada dos Guimarães is a universe of waterfalls, caves, mountain peaks and magnificent views, plus rock fashioned by the elements. In recent years, more than 50 archaeological sites have been discovered here, with rock paintings and prehistoric fossils. Here were the former settlements of hunting people, as witnessed by the rock paintings and excavations of the first native inhabitants of South America's Central Plateau. An image of lush tropical landscape underlines the unspoiled nature of a time long past. An area of prehistory on the border of the Amazon basin. The only road across the high plateau leads us to the Centro Geodésico. These remote farmhouses lie sideways on, and their inhabitants have taken full advantage of the fertile soil of this region. Next, we arrive at the village of Chapada. This historical center, with its tiny buildings, is dominated by a 200-year-old church. It's believed that Indian slaves constructed the blue-white church to commemorate Saint Anna. Life on the high plateau is hard but healthy. Winters are cold and the summers temperate. Outside the village, a memorial stone amid an open plateau marks the geodetic center of South America. The area is said to have a special energy that permits cars to run without an engine and that attracts UFOs. The view from here is quite breathtaking. An endless panorama of green slopes that are covered with cerrado forests. And in the far distance, the humid lowlands of the Amazonias. It would be difficult to find a more contrasting living space anywhere else. In the 18th century, trappers and bandeirantes discovered the high plateau and their amazing scenery. The only way from here into the southern lowlands of Mato Grosso is to Cuibaba, and from there into the almost uninhabitable land of water. The town of Bakura is situated at the entrance to the Pantanal. It has a city gate and features many colourful buildings. It was founded in 1781 and its name is derived from the veritable, the primeval Indians who once lived here. Gold prospectors settled here, but their efforts were in vain. Although they were religious, prostitution, smuggling and drug dealing were commonplace. Bakura has not yet become a tourist destination. Those who come to admire nature only pass by here because of the road that travels through the town. The road is good, but we're unsure as to how long it will stay in this condition. Suddenly, there's a large sign across the road and a barrier. This is the beginning of the Transpantanera, a shining red gravel road that travels through unique and unspoiled swampland. The Pantanal. Located within the watery lowlands, this is the South American continent's largest wildlife paradise, covering an area half the size of Germany. As well as being home to migratory birds, which fly to and from both Argentina and Central America, there are also permanent residents here on this nutrition-rich landscape. The name Pantanal is derived from the Portuguese word pantano, which means swamp or quagmire. In actual fact, it's a marshland area. It floods between November and April when it contains much nutritious silt. There's even a main road that travels 149 kilometers across this wilderness and over 126 wooden bridges. The Transpantanera. The road was completed in September 1973. The earth walls must be renewed each year following the rainy season. Caimans are visible along the banks of the causeway. During the day, the caimans lie motionless in the sun. Only on closer inspection can signs of life be detected. A special attraction here are the capybara, or water pigs, the world's largest rodent. More than 650 bird species appreciate the tranquility and nutritious abundance of this protected region. For them, it's a paradise on earth. The single road of red earth travels on and on southwards. Water pigs are generally timid creatures, although there can be times when a capybara can be fearless and stubbornly claims the road for itself. Millions of years ago, an inland sea covered this area prior to gradually drying out. Today, the region varies between 100 and 200 meters above sea level. It's a landscape that consists of savanna, forests, meadows, and countless rivers, and where most of the land is flooded during the rainy season. Between trees and shrubs and a sea of flowers and blossoms, waterfowl go in search of breakfast and strut through countless fields of water. Wildlife enjoy this Noah's Ark of South America. Since the year 2000, the Pantanal National Park has been a UNESCO Natural Inheritance Site. In the small village of Porto Jofre, the Transpantaneira comes to an end. On the banks of the Rio Chiaba, the few people who live here earn their living from fishing and tourism. After the first visitors arrived here, the local people soon understood what they required: fishing trips and houseboats. The area is also particularly popular with bird watchers. We travel back to Posadas. Whenever the evening has a magnificent sunset, silence follows. The hours of morning in this wonderful natural landscape help us to forget the outside world, and the area is free of ecotourism. The diverse and fascinating flora not only attracts wildlife, those who visit enjoy the splendor of the colorful natural scenery. The abundance of wildlife includes a big population of large wading birds, as well as caimans, fish, monkeys, and migratory birds. Wooden footbridges continually extend sideways from the road into the wilderness, in which the bird life feels secure and seldom flies away if humans approach unobtrusively. Amid this untouched primeval landscape, those who come here can experience the full magic of nature. Pantanal is the largest natural paradise on the South American continent. Watchtowers have been built for guests of the eco-farms. Various groups of monkeys have come to rest here. They seem to freeze in the cool of the morning. With much curiosity, they gaze at visitors while awaiting the warmth of the first sunshine of summer. It is then that the search for food in the high treetops within the dense forest begins. A few remaining farms of the region are situated a little way from the road. One One of the most active and innovative is the Posada Araras, that has adapted itself to the popularity of ecotourism and, in addition to livestock breeding, also offers accommodation. The complex fits harmoniously into the surroundings, with modern comforts such as showers and air conditioning. Plus swimming pool and dining al fresco. One of the few side roads leads past a watchtower. Up in the trees, monkeys balance artistically on the thin branches in order to grasp hold of a tasty snack. The fresh blossoms are very tasty, so the cheeky little gourmets enjoy their meal oblivious to all around them. Private roads lead to farmhouses and are well maintained by their owners. A costly business due to flooding. To tend to their livestock, the Pantaneros ride across the land on horseback. This is the only practical means by which they can travel across forests, open country, and tropical marshland. Since the ecotourism boom, cattle farmers often gather around hotel fazendas and talk of their adventures. Along the region's many rivers and waterfalls, the canoe has proved itself to be the best method by which visitors can enjoy this remote area. And with a little luck, there can be some fascinating discoveries to be made, such as the huge fish otter, which hungrily consumes its delicious breakfast of fish. Anacondas and countless fish species splash around inconspicuously in the rivers, whose ecology was all but destroyed in the 1970s. In northern Pantanal, thousands of gold and diamond prospectors contaminated the river with poisonous quicksilver. But at the 11th hour, the destruction of the local environment was prevented. But humanity has become wiser. Ecotourism and nature conservation have contributed towards the survival of this unique expanse of nature. A natural paradise within a watery wilderness, in which the remarkable diversity of bird life is almost without equal. The Pantanal is an interdependent, fragile ecosystem which must, out of respect for nature, be conserved for future generations. From Bakura, a new sandy road leads in an easterly direction to as far as the Rio Cuibaba. After 45 kilometers, the small village of Porto Corrado marks the end of the road. From here, numerous riverboats begin their circular tours. A large resort hotel was built close to this humble settlement and provides the villagers with work. Women sit chatting in front of their huts on the banks of the river and await the return of their husbands, who are fishing or out on boat trips. Even today, Mato Grosso is the wild west of Brasilia. Yet this former Indian tribal land has become inhabited and reclaimed. However, it is still a natural paradise on earth.